you have any other ways that you might trick yourself into doing stuff?
I think just to do it,
Mm,
like I'll start with I like with my squats because I've done them now 4 days in a row.
love it.
So it's getting pretty serious.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're in a relationship with squats right now.
right? But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 10. But really, I knew I was gonna do 12. And
Yeah.
so, but I was like, no, just do if you can do 10, knock 10 out.
Uh-huh.
But then if I do 12, I'm like, fuck yes, like I'm killing it. And then the next day, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do 12. And then I
Yep.
actually do 15.
What?
What?
Holla.
Like,
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
What is eep and what is oop, my friends? Hello, jokers. Hello, gymmers. We are here. We are doing this. We're on the pod. I'm recording early in the morning. We're getting it going. Life's happening, and we ain't got a choice but to keep up with it, do we? We're here. We're moving. We're going forward one way or another. I'm stoked you're here today. I'm stoked my guest is here today. I'm stoked, I guess. Stoked is my word that I friggin' use. I remember one time in 6th grade at space camp, one of our camp counselors kept saying stoked in his messages. And one of my friends, he did not feel stoked about it. I remember he sent my friend a note and said something like, well, aren't you stoked to be at space camp? And my friend Nick, rest in peace, was like, no. But my camp counselor, Viper, was stoked all the time. And I think some of that stoked runoff has stuck with me over the years. And sometimes it's manufactured. Sometimes I got to manufacture the stoke. Sometimes I just got to move to get the stoke going. Sometimes I just got to say, Rudy, shut the heck up and start moving. Start doing something. You're thinking too much and you're doing too little. And so then I have to listen to myself and say, you know what, Rudy, you're friggin' right. I hate it. Why are you telling me things I don't want to do that are going to make me feel better? And sometimes I listen to myself. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just sit around and eat junk. Oh man, I like snacks. I like eating stuff, but I also try to keep it in check and just work out consistently so I don't have to feel bad about eating the things I like. That's part of the reason I like to work out so much, is because it helps me be able to eat the foods that I love with less worry about how it's going to impact my figure. And yet, I also try to eat the foods that are going to nourish my body, make me feel good. If I'm acting a little silly today, it's because one, the world is silly. We live in a silly place, but we're all doing our best, I think. And two, I haven't eaten or done anything. This is the first thing I'm doing in the day. Well, I used the bathroom, I fed a cat or two, and I cleaned up, splashed some water on myself, and now I'm feeling good, feeling ready to record this intro, baby. And have you listened to my conversation with Jes Anderson, co-host of the Tarp Report with Sam Miller up in the Seattle area? Jess is awesome. She's been going at comedy for a bit now, and she's doing her thing. She's in contests. She's got a family. She's got a job. She's doing so many things, and she's still doing comedy. And I love talking with people about their journeys, their experiences, what they're doing. And so I'm glad that Jess and I got to connect and chat a bit. I'm looking forward to more of that in the future, whether that's up north or down south. So that's Seattle or Eugene. And yeah, so thank you for stopping by. I know a lot's going on in the world, and I want to take a moment to thank my fake sponsor, childcare. Have you ever wanted childcare? Well, good luck. It's hard to find good childcare. But if you do, you better hold on to it, because, you got little kiddos and they run around. When they run around too much, you got to have someone to wrangle them when you're not in the vicinity. Guess what that's called? Childcare. And you know what childcare is? Childcare is childcare. And I hope you got it. I hope you get it. And I hope your child gets it. Childcare. And with that, we're going to move into the conversation with Jes Anderson here this week on Jokes in the Gym. I hope you have all your childcare needs met. I hope you have done something good for yourself today. And I hope these words and these sounds hit your ear holes in a positive way today, baby. Whatever you're doing, take a deep breath and enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy my convo with Jes Anderson. Oh, hey, everybody. We got a dog in the shot. How's it going? I'm stoked to be here today with my guest. She is a comedian from up in the Seattle area. She co-hosts a weekly podcast with the one of many, Sam Miller's, but he's probably my favorite, called the Tarp Report. Everyone put your hands together for Jes Anderson.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. You made it out to your couch today.
I did.
Nice.
Well, this is actually someone else's couch.
Oh.
This is someone else's couch, someone else's dog.
So. Oh, wow. So you're on the road.
Yeah.
Are you doing shows or what?
No, they have better internet over here. So.
Okay, nice. Perfect.
Yeah,
That's you got to get in where you fit in. Man, yeah. I have siphoned so much internet from people in my time.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have a better webcam. So I was like, I'm going to come over real quick.
Awesome. Well, thank you, neighbors, for your helpful internet.
Partner, yeah.
We were talking about getting this set up and meeting. You also have a day job. I love day jobs. I love hearing about what they do in addition to comedy. What does your life kind of look like?
I have a regular people job. I manage a Montessori preschool.
Oh, okay.
By day, which sounds much more noble than it actually is. Like,
just kid wrangling.
No, I don't see. That's the thing, is I don't mess with the kids like at all. I have the best job in the school, nice. Which is I don't mess with the children. Like I just stay in my office. Like I do like the back end of like the business stuff. So
you're behind the scenes.
Yes, exactly. I'm in my office watching Survivor and printing things.
Well, the teachers are living it with the children.
Yes, exactly. And I have the luxury of closing my door when I'm, when I don't want to hear the joy of children.
Oh, right? Yes. They're so joyful. They are loudly joyful, those children.
There is sometimes.
So I work at the Y, and it's the largest childcare provider in Lane County, actually, which is pretty cool.
Fantastic.
And I just hear kids like screaming on the playgrounds. Do you just hear children screaming regularly? Is that a thing kids do?
Yeah, I think they just scream. Just to check to see if they can, Yeah.
That's how
I will say I'm spoiled because my kids are Montessorians. Mm-hmm. And so like they're just like the most well-behaved children that I've ever seen. Like some of these preschoolers listen better than my teenagers.
Right.
Like I'm like, I messed up my kids somewhere. But yeah, so they're not like a wild bunch.
Okay.
But
is that kind of what Montessori means then? You see Montessori and it's like, oh, these are children in little cute bow ties who speak Mandarin fluently. And...
Well, that they are very we have different languages and stuff in the preschool, but it's more child led is what it is. And they kind of, they show us the way and then we follow.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you have your own kids as well.
I do. I have two girls. I have a 13 and a 17-year-old.
13 and 17. How is that phase right now? That seems like it's a lot going on.
Awesome.
It's awesome?
Yeah, it's so great. No, it's I love it. I love that like my kids are finally at the age where they think I'm funny. So, which has been, is very important to me.
I feel like there are eras in a kid's life with their parents when they're funny or not funny, right?
Right. Like infancy, they think you're funny. It's very easy to get them to giggle.
Yeah.
But then once they get to like, once they develop their own like sense of humor and they stop thinking that I'm cool. Like then they start thinking that like I'm obnoxious.
Right.
Which is true.
We're all obnoxious, right?
A little bit. But I'm mom. I'm supposed to be obnoxious.
Have you learned about yourself through being a mother?
Well, yeah, of course. I don't know what.
But there's something in there.
No, I mean, now I can't even imagine, like, it's been, I can't, it's just who I am,
Right.
Like before, was just before I had kids. I was still a mom then, but I just didn't have kids.
Right. Yeah. You were a mom before you were a mom. Did you start comedy? There was a slight pause.
Yeah.
I'm here. Are you
Hello.
here?
I'm here.
We're here.
I'm here.
You're here. Did you start comedy before or after you became a mom?
I've only been doing comedy for 3 years.
Oh, okay. So that's an after.
So after, yeah.
Well, what kind of started you on that path? Like, why'd you get on your first mic?
Because it's something I always wanted to do. It was, it was a pipe dream. Like I used to watch comedy and be like, wow, like I love that power.
Right.
But then I don't really know like what made me sign up, but for some reason I went on to like the Tacoma Comedy Club, website and signed up for their open mic, and my name was on the list. Like the next time they put and I was like, oh shit.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm like, this is it. My career has started.
I made it.
I'm like, I can't not show up. Like I can't, I can't end it before it begins.
Are you someone who needs or likes that external motivation to do stuff? Do you like a carrot?
Yes. Well, I need that. Like if I put something out there, then I feel like I have to do it.
Some kind of accountability. You're creating that accountability model for yourself, kind of.
100. Yeah, for sure. Like I wouldn't want to tell I wouldn't like tell people that I would do it and then not do it. Like that would just be, just the word. Like there's like, it makes my tummy hurt just thinking about it.
Totally. Yeah. No, I get, you're a person of your word. That's important.
Yeah, it definitely means a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry about the dog.
It's okay. I saw recently you were chosen or something. Is this are you going through a comedy competition or something like that? How's that going for you?
It's going good. Like so it's called the Comedy Voice. And it's like the voice competition like on, that you've seen on TV.
It's kind of fun.
And it's a good time. It's through the Tacoma Comedy Club, and it's just kind of forcing me to, like it forces you to just kind of like focus on like just like your jokes and like your writing and which is normally what you do as a comedian. You're trying to get more and more material, you're always like trying to write more stuff, whereas like in a competition, this is more like whittling down and like trying to make it, you only have, I think the first one was only 3 minutes, so it's like you have 3 minutes to knock them dead,
right? Yeah, make them laugh, and 3 minutes flies by in a competition.
It's so fast. And I am like, I have a lot of preamble, like I like to tell like a whole story, and so like it's been really it's been a learning experience for me to like look at my material and be like, okay, wow, there's a lot of stuff that I say that I don't necessarily like need to say, like,
right,
and so
I really do like the exercise of like listening to your sets and writing down exactly what you say, because then you can see how much fat you got to trim. You're like, oh, geez, there's like 3 sentences in there that I didn't even need.
Well, that don't. One of the things that my friend Lisa Remmer and I did is we put in like we literally use like a laugh emoji anywhere that like and like typed it all out, and anywhere there's a laugh you put a little emoji, and it like very easily like points out like, oh shit, I have 3 lines right there that have no laugh whatsoever. So it like really it it forces you to be like, okay, that I either need to punch that up or I need to get rid of it. It's like, so
that's such a smart visual to put on there too, so you can kind of feel the rhythm and the flow and or see it how it comes out.
Yeah, that she sent hers to me like that, and I was like, oh shit, this is what I need to be doing. This is brilliant. And so and it's just being able to see it on paper, and because sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, I think that gets a but
there's a laugh there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time the laugh there is just mine.
Right, exactly.
Like I'm just laughing.
If it counts.
Yeah, I wrote it because I thought it was funny.
Right, yeah. Somebody.
And I'm one of those annoying comedians who laughs on stage. Like I'm having fun. I'm in the middle of it. Is that you too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like. Well, especially if it's genuine. I mean, sometimes like there's genuinely funny moments. Right. But I do tend to kind of giggle a little bit.
Yeah.
Even on stage.
It's fun because also like you get to witness how an audience responds to a joke that or sometimes you make it up on the spot and it's a riff and you're actually laughing in the moment, but sometimes it's just fun to like play with the audience response, and sometimes that comes via laughter or taking a pause and that kind of stuff, because it's like, I know this joke, I know this punchline, but how can I make it feel unique to the people that I'm with at the moment? And it's hard. It's fun. Sometimes, I'm not fake laughing, but I do laugh a lot. I'm like a witch up there.
Oh no, like, well, I just did a show in Spokane, and like it was so much fun, and I was laughing through the whole thing. And it's like it is jokes that I know, and I know where the punchlines are, but listening to them laugh makes like it like I mean I get cold chills, like I get like so excited, and so it does make me giggle, like and so it does elicit like a very genuine laugh from me, because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get you in 1 second, like and when I get them, that makes me giggle.
Totally. I mean, it's like it's so delightful to be in a room with people who are trying to laugh on purpose. Like that's what we're doing when we put on comedy shows. When people come out, it's like we're trying to laugh at this shit together because the world is wild and everyone's melting, and who knows what's going to come tomorrow. So let's laugh tonight.
Yeah, let's have a little fun.
Yeah, let's enjoy it. Let's see. Okay, so you're doing the voice. You got the day job. Comedy, working out. How is health a part of your life, Jess? What's your gym been recently? Is there something you're doing?
Okay, so I go to the gym probably 3 times a week.
Love it.
To tan.
Love it. Sort of.
I'm halfway there.
Yeah, you're going through the doors.
I did 20 squats yesterday.
Awesome.
Because it's not a huge part of my life anymore, but I used to actually, and I'm required by law to say this, but back before I started comedy, I used to be like a CrossFit coach, and I was I managed a gym for a really long time. Wow. And so I of all people, I know the importance, and I know like that all of the things that I should be doing to make me, especially because I'm a super neurotic, like anxious person. So I'm like, if I just lifted something heavy and like put it down, I bet I would feel a lot better.
It's crazy how much anxiety that relieves.
It really just, well, I think just the reminder that you're strong, that you're stronger than you think you are. And like, what makes you feel stronger than lifting up a boulder or a heavy weight, or,
So empowering to be able to work out and have control over your body.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were a CrossFit coach?
Yes.
Really?
I was a CrossFit coach.
Were you like there when it was starting?
I started working out with a bunch of ladies in my driveway.
Love it.
In Kentucky. We were on base because I'm military, and we started like a workout group like together in our driveway. It was awesome, just a bunch of moms. And then we got word that this CrossFit gym was opening up like right outside of base. And I just messaged him and I was like, hey, I have these ladies that I've been working out with, and like we're kind of building a thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, sure, come on, bring it in. And they put me through like my CrossFit coach training, and I did that. Yeah, I did that for years, and it was just
And were you like in it? Was CrossFit the motivation, or was
No.
like community, or what was
community?
Your motivation?
Like I loved working out with my ladies. I always called myself the anti-CrossFit coach.
Okay, nice. I like it. I'm on board.
Yeah, because it was not for me. I didn't get it. I'm like, I don't understand why we need to jump that high. I don't feel like we need to lift that heavy. Like it feels like we're training for criminal behavior here.
Right. Yeah. We don't live on the savannah. We're fine.
What are we doing? And so, but I am the typical coach, like do as I say, not as I do. Like I'm super good at motivating people and getting them to do things.
Yep.
And then I'm sitting there with my coffee like,
keep it up.
You're doing awesome.
Yeah. I was working with some clients this week. Actually, it was a big week for me because it was my first week to work one-on-one with personal training clients on the floor.
Hell yeah.
Felt awesome. So much fun.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm excited. I'm making a quarter jar for every workout I provide. I'm going to put a quarter in, and that's
nice.
That's the goal, is to get 1,000 quarters in there. I'm going to have $250, baby.
That's hell yeah.
Yeah. But it was the same kind of thing. It's like, I'm like, okay, don't forget to go slowly on the on the release when you're going down. I'm like, okay, slow down. And then I'm working out an hour later. I'm like, okay, shut up. Take your own advice, dipshit. Go slower, slow down. Right. But it helps you actually, because it's like, I've been saying this for an hour. So I'm like, now I'm primed to do it for myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I still like my shoes still have like the top of them like have like where I'm always putting the weight on my heels. Like because I used to, one of the foundational movements of CrossFit is the squat, and if you can't squat, you can't do anything.
Okay.
And so for years I taught everyone to put weight on your heels. And so like still I will just be like standing and I'll just like be putting all of my weight on my heels. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to do that right now.
Sinking into this hole in the back of your shoes or whatever.
Oh yeah, lean down. You got it.
So if I've never been into a CrossFit gym and I go into a CrossFit training gym for the first time, what can I expect, or what should I do going in?
Well, that's the thing about CrossFit that's kind of amazing. And like, I think a pretty common misconception is that like you have to be in like a certain sort of like shape, or you have to do something before you come into a CrossFit gym. And it's just like any other, gym. Everything that you do, like all of the movements can be modified. Everything that you see like on the games, you see them doing can be modified to your fitness level. So, it can be, you can have anybody in a classroom, from somebody who's never set foot in a gym, and instead of using a barbell, they're using a PVC pipe,
right.
So they're still getting those movements. They're still figuring out those, how to do everything, but they're not going to hurt themselves.
There you go.
So, because you build up to it.
Yeah. It's because it doesn't seem like it's available for all levels. Like that's
And
not.
I know. It's because you see, like, I was trying to tell everyone, like, the CrossFit games that you see on TV is like that's what everyone thinks. And it's like, no, that's like our like NFL, like
Yeah.
those guys, like they're crazy.
Cream of the
Like,
crop,
yeah,
psycho,
like
genetic freaks, working
yes,
all the time,
they're
sponsors.
doing 7 and 8 a day.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, but like, we can tailor it to whatever fitness level that you have, whatever injuries that you have, like
Right.
anything can be, it can be, brought down to you, and then you build up.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't think that way about health and fitness. Like I think so many people see it like, oh, I got to get in shape so I can go to the gym. You know
Right.
what? Like a lot of people are like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I got to clean my house before the cleaners come over.
Exactly.
It's like, I got to do that prep work before I
Mm-hmm.
can actually do the work. But it's like, what people don't realize is the prep work is the work. Like that's
Right.
you're doing it if you're starting it at all.
Yeah.
So you're in the door, you're in the tanning bed, you're using the equipment, you're at the gym.
I'm using the equipment, right? It's not the right equipment.
Is that is that part of a plan? Do you want to get back into it? Are you walking? Are you doing little weights at home or anything like this?
This has just been there's been like a shift. I turned 40 a few weeks ago.
Congrats, you made it.
Thank you. So far so good.
Rock on.
But like literally as soon as I did, I went from and I hate to be this and I'm like the exact person that I hate, but I went from being a size 4 to a size 10 and like it felt like literally overnight. Right. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, 40 hit me hard.
40 hit. Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I want to do like, I have it in my head that I want to do like a 5K or like a fun run or something like that, just to kind of like, to get me back in the door, to remind me that like, it's not all, it's fun. There's fun in it too.
And get you a little carrot, a little motivator, a little something to work towards.
Listen, I need a t-shirt.
Yes. Give me that 5K turkey trot t-shirt, baby.
Exactly. If I don't get a t-shirt for it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Like,
is it like, did you even do it?
Yeah. If I forget my Fitbit, I don't get those steps. This doesn't even count.
I have been wearing my watch. I was going to show you, but I took it off.
Yeah.
But I've been wearing my watch lately.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to keep, I'm like, no, come on, girl.
Yeah.
Like,
does the watch help? I've had a little Fitbit, like a knockoff version.
Yeah.
I've never had one. Does the like fitness accessory help you? Does that kind of help you keep going?
I run on shame a lot.
Yeah, good. Right.
And, good. So it'll like vibrate if you haven't like moved in a long time. And it'll like, just be like, hey, move. And it's just enough to be, I won't do anything about it just yet, but it's a reminder. It's
I'll consider a wiggle.
Right. Yeah.
It's a reminder.
I will go on a jog in my head.
That's not the worst step you could take.
Isn't that? I think that's called meditating.
Yeah.
So.
But seriously, sometimes just those little things are like, oh, that's all I need. I don't need to do a whole workout. This is what I'm trying to like incorporate into my life more and share with folks, is the idea of movement snacks. I saw that somewhere and I just really like it because it's like, oh, I don't have to do a whole workout. I can just do a set or two of something. Right. Like, are my hips feeling tight? Do I need to open up my shoulders? Like listening to your body and then taking a tiny bit of action will often get you to the place that you're looking to move towards.
Right.
So it's like just doing it a little. I read another thing I heard recently was that,
I like that.
It's just the first 15 minutes that sucks. Like just when you're doing a new thing, it's like, oh, these first 15 minutes are shitty. But then once you get past those 15 minutes, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in here. I'm thinking of ideas, or here's a workout I could do, or I could write some more jokes, or blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so I just got to set a timer sometimes to get through the time to the place where I want to be.
Yeah.
Do you have any ways that you'll trick yourself? I guess the watch is part of it. Do you have any other ways that you might trick yourself into doing stuff?
I think just to do it, like first, like that, I'll start with with my squats, because you know I've done them now 4 days in a row.
Love it.
So it's getting pretty serious.
Yeah, you're in a relationship with squats right now,
right? Like, but like with I was like, okay, I'm going to do 10, and then but really I knew I was going to do 12.
Yeah.
And so, but I was like, no, just do, if you can do 10, knock 10 out. But then if I do 12, I'm like, fuck yes, like I'm killing it. And then the next day I'm like, all right, I'm going to do 12. And then I actually do 15.
What?
Holla. Like oh man. So some little mental gymnastics.
Right, for sure. My sister, she and I are both in our 40s, and so she loves fitness and health and stuff too. And I would recommend you look into Dr. Stacy Sims, who's a really good practitioner for women particularly. And she's like, women are not just small men, and they should be trained. You should train differently, and there's different things you could do. So Dr. Stacy Sims is a big rec for my sister. But one of the other ones she gave me was 20 squats after a meal. Does the same thing essentially for your body and digestion as like a 15-minute walk after a meal.
Oh, really?
So if you just do like 20 squats after a meal, that's the same kind of deal. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have to do everything. I just ate, and let's move a little bit so that shit will be better later.
Well, and I think that literally,
sorry.
I think that that's something that people often do too, is try and do everything all at once. And I'm going to change my food. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to start going to the gym now, instead of just doing no, I'm just going to make one little thing a habit, or tweak one little thing. And then later on we'll add a second, we'll add a third, and then change your whole life will change eventually. But it's I feel like more likely to do so if you're inching away at it,
doing the things that are in your grasp.
Right. Well, I think trying to do everything all at once is you're setting yourself up for failure.
Totally.
It's so easy to get overwhelmed that way.
Same with comedy.
Personally.
Me, totally me as well. But I'll talk with somebody who's considering comedy or thinking about going to do some jokes, and they're like, "Yeah, I think I could do 7 or 8 minutes." I'm like, start with 30 seconds. Just start with 30 seconds of jokes, and then think about 7 or 8 minutes, because it's the idea. It's funny because bad comedy gives a lot of people inspiration. They're like, I could do that. It's you probably could make people laugh as little as we just did right now. Absolutely. But how would you feel about it? Would you keep coming back? Would that be something that you want to do the next week and the next week? Because they're not all the bangers. We don't all get these great shows.
What is that? Why do we keep doing it? What is that? What is that about? I should start working out is what I should start doing.
There you go. It's like the two have some similarities. They're they can be so fun when they're when you're in the zone, when things are flowing. But then when it's not, it's the struggle is the thing. Struggling to do comedy is comedy. Struggling to work out is working out. That's all part of the process. And why do we keep doing it? Let's see if I can why do I keep doing it? Because it's about being connected with other people, feeling seen, feeling understood. And it's if you can connect with people about the stuff that's important to you, that exposes some of your vulnerability, then what a gift to the people around you, right? That we're in this together as human beings. I don't know. So that's one of my philosophical reasons for doing comedy. And I'm a psychopath, egocentric narcissist. I think that's the other reason we all do it. That's the real reason. Yeah.
Are we we're just gonna breeze past the ego here?
Yeah. No. I'm a Leo. No. It's all ego in here.
No, absolutely. No, I think, it's and everybody wants to feel like they matter, you know, and, you know, doing like making people laugh makes them feel good. And, you know, it makes me feel like I matter.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Like you're seen, like you're a human being. And
Right.
it's, yeah, I'm thankful that in my day job as well, I'm cracking jokes all the time. I can be a person, you know. I'm sure you've had those jobs where you're like in it and you're like, I'm hardly myself when I'm
Right.
step through those doors or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you had a job like that where you're like, oh, this isn't a good fit?
Oh, absolutely. Where I'm like, you guys have no idea who I am.
Yeah. We are not friends. I just realized
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I am really lucky, like with my job, like where I am right now. Like I get to, my boss is absolutely amazing. Like she totally supports my comedy dreams. Like,
What a gift.
I know, like she's the best. But I also work with my best friend who I met through comedy, and I was like, dude, come work for me at my job. And we get to just like shoot the shit about comedy for like, you know, a couple hours each day.
Dude.
You know, and just it's so much fun. So
and your friend's a comic as well?
Yeah.
So fun. That's
I don't
awesome.
know, just Chandler, yeah, he's a comic out here. But we just yeah, and like try and flex and work out our comedy muscle as much as we can.
Yeah. Because I mean, because I'm working at the Y, I'm focusing on this kind of new job as a personal trainer. In addition to my other roles there, I have like 3 or 4 jobs at the Y. It's like I haven't been doing open mics as much, but at the same time, because I'm in an environment where I can be myself and crack jokes and be in the moment and that kind of stuff, I still feel like I'm working on a lot of those same skills that I use on stage. And it's not like I'm doing material for people at the gym, although I do have ideas of
they just don't know it.
Yeah. It becomes material over time, because it's like you have these little spiels that you give people and you're like, oh, there's a joke, there's a joke, there's a joke. And I'm actually a much better writer at work than I am as a comedian, because it's on message, you know, like there's a more of a focused thing. And that's something I know I can work out as a comedian, is more focus for sure. But I love it. And I guess the point is, I don't necessarily even feel rusty sometimes if I haven't gone to a mic in a little while, because I'm still like talking with people and teaching classes and in front of folks. And
that's good.
It's nice when the job can transfer some of that stuff, you know?
Yeah. I'm lucky because I get to not necessarily flex that side muscle, but like I sit in front of a computer for 8 hours out of the day. So I can sit and work on the back end of comedy, you know, sending out avails and like, you know, cutting up videos and that kind of stuff, that like for social media and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it has different benefits.
For sure. Yeah. There's so many little things. It's kind of nice when you have those, like a day job that's kind of slow at times, because you can do the back end stuff for comedy. It's like one of my guests and friends who was on the show, Sanjay Maniktala, he said his number was like, comedy, only about 10% is like performing and being on stage. The rest is like all the other stuff. And it's
the
like
business end. Yeah.
Oh, wow. When he just said that, it was like, oh, you're kind of right. Like there's so much more to it. And so when you have that space at work where it's not you're not like, oh, I'm constantly writing jokes, or this is an hour of writing. It's like, get to do that, send that email, respond to this thing, just to kind of keep the boat moving, you know, keep shoveling that coal in there, because it does have to keep moving forward somehow.
Yep.
You know,
I found, and it kind of sucks, but I've gotten into the like when I first started, like I found that I'm the most like creative, like joke wise, at open mics for some reason. Like I don't know, like I just being around like other like creative energy and just other comics, and even if it's
pressure.
well, just, I mean, even if I'm not up, like just writing, like is, and so like, um, but, but then if I'm not going to Mike's, then I don't feel like I'm getting, I'm not having that
Right.
time
Yeah.
to sit down and, so that's where I feel like I get the most amount of my writing done.
Is like out actually at mics and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I totally get that. And I like the the flexibility that comes from an open mic too. I like that it's
Mm-hmm.
not a show in the sense that means I can take some greater risks. I can do some more
Yeah.
things that I wouldn't necessarily do at a show, or I might, who knows. But stuff that just isn't as tested. I mean, that's obviously what a mic is, right? Just to get better
Right.
at your material. Surprise. But I'm also trying to give a little more weight to my ideas prior to taking them up, because I too like to just work stuff out on stage and see how that goes. But sometimes it's like,
Mm-mm-mm.
oh, just sit with this joke for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like meditate on a joke for 5 or 10 minutes, sit with it and like, where is it? What do I like about it? What don't I like? Is it saying what I want it to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what kind of rubs me the wrong way with a lot of comedy and just communication in general, is because it's not saying something I resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just a joke, like, oh yeah, it's just a joke, whatever, you're so sensitive or this or that. But it's like, maybe, but it doesn't even resonate with me somehow. And I feel like that's kind of the state we're in right now, is that if people aren't on board with your perspective, they're not even willing to laugh at your joke. And
Yeah.
I've talked with people about that, and most people give me pushback on that because they feel like it's kind of different. How do you feel about that relationship between audience expectations and perspectives, and then their ability to laugh at your jokes as a comedian?
Well, I think that I I keep it about me,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't ever really like talk about like anything that like I don't know anything about.
That doesn't touch you directly.
Yeah, and so like that, like I talk about myself, I talk about my family, like my,
Mm-hmm.
and like my entire set is like about my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like because of that, like I don't necessarily I don't get as much pushback, or
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not talking about like um
Hot button issues.
yeah, things that like I don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Imagine that.
oh right. And so I just keep my mouth shut and I stay in my lane. I've like what?
When did I become that person?
Right, I hate it. No, like, but I, I don't know. I sit at enough mics. Like I was at a
Mm-hmm.
mic the night after the election, and it was
Mm.
exactly what you would think it was, and
Yeah.
it just is disappointing, and
Uh,
like everything is about balls, and
oh
it was,
man.
you know,
I'm I'm a little concerned that the brosphere is just gonna get so it's gonna pop. You know what I mean? It's gonna be too filled with balls and
you
dick
think so?
jokes. I think so, but maybe it'll just like steamroll the rest of comedy as well. Like, because
Right.
that's what can happen. A shitty fucking joke didn't, made its way into the presidential election conversation this year,
I
which is
think that that's
wild.
like I this the scariest part I think for me is just how like yeah it became so personal
Mm,
when Kill Tony got involved, and like I feel
yeah.
like I f- and then to I feel like the edgelords won this round.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, they
and
did.
it gave it gives all of those people who have been just saying all of those horrendous things, all of those comedians who think it's okay to say the R word and punch down, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that shit. It was just like, hey guys, keep going. Yeah, there are no fucking rules. Like you're totally fine. You can
It's
say it out.
all
Women don't
good.
matter. Yeah, like
Yeah.
fuck them.
Smack your
Like
audience around. Grab them by the whatever. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
so it's so frightening. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was it was a bummer. You know,
Yeah.
I because we live in that world, you know, and especially as a woman in comedy, and like I see the shit that men say as a joke, and
Yeah.
it's like it's not. Ah.
Yeah. There's all this notion of like locker room talk and how men talk and how guys talk about stuff in general. And I'm really thankful that I didn't grow up in those locker rooms. I grew up
I've
in
never
locker
been in that
rooms.
locker room.
I've been in locker rooms my whole life, but we've never been like, oh yeah, I was just blah, 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 blah. It's like,
Right.
that's not at all how I've talked
That's
with my
good.
male friends over the years. And so, yeah, it sounds like, yeah, not all men are blah, blah, but it's like, it just so, it sucks when you see it so plainly and it's just everywhere and it's lifted up. It's literally lifted. It's the loudest voice in the world right
Right.
now. And so how do you combat that? For me, it's just on a day-to-day personal level. It's like, how do I interact with people who may or may not share my beliefs? And that's, I think, a huge responsibility we all have right now. I see so many people shutting down at the moment and being like, fuck you if you voted for Trump or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not the space we need to be in right now. I understand and appreciate people who are going to fight for what they believe in, and you should continue to do that. But we got to live with each other for the next 4 years and beyond. So how can you make that bearable and maybe even pleasant, and that's a tall task.
I don't know. I struggle because, you know, if I'm being completely honest with like, so many times already, where like there have been moments where I should say something and don't say something, and it's like, is that the right route? Is it better to just like, is it better to just be quiet and like to appease, and just it's easier to not fight things, like, or is it now, or is it time to like call these guys out and be like, no, like loud, and but the reality is you also want to work. Like there's so many disgusting factors that like come into play.
It really, you're totally right. There was that New York Times article going around recently about like, is the comedy booking system broken? Have you seen that one popping up and stuff?
Well, I mean,
what's your take?
As a comedy booker who's been in the news for this.
What happened? Can you enlighten me a bit about the situation that you're referring to?
Oh, well, I was the booker who I had booked Kurt Metzger and a couple of the skanks at my bar, at the comedy bar in Seattle.
Okay.
And then I did a little bit more research and then unbooked the skanks.
Okay. All right. And because of their views, their actions?
Yeah. Like I knew like Kurt Metzger from like when I was in like high school, and he was on like Chelsea Lately, and he has a Peabody and
national credits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has a fucking Peabody. Apparently they just give him to anyone.
Yeah. Here, Kurt, have a Peabody.
But yeah, and then we have an investor, and our investor was like, nope, it's not a good fit for Capitol Hill. And so I sent them an email, and that email became national.
Oh,
yeah, wow. National news. Like,
how long ago was that? How do you feel about it? Or like looking back on it? Yeah,
it was a wild, it was about a year or so ago. We had just like, I guess it was October of last year ish, a little bit. Or no, it was in February. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But it was a world, like it was crazy. Like he
shifted things.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Metzger like had a call to arms to take me down.
Really?
Like,
whoa,
yeah, like that's specifically like
Jess.
Yeah, Jes with one S.
So you had all these bros that are probably like conspiracy theory types.
I had they were on like they were threatening my family. Like it was like, and so it was like a month that like it was just, I have hundreds of emails of people just like death threats, like wishing, the business goes under, and and it was like, and it was my fault. Like it was totally like like I should not have booked them
in the first
place. Like,
but good for you for doing what you believe to be right. It's like, and like stop, like, oh yeah, I don't want to work with these kind of people.
It was not. And now, and especially like, and looking now, and I'm like, yeah, I made the right choice. Like, because those are definitely, that's not the crew that I would have wanted in our home.
And then you see it when they don't get their way or whatever.
Exactly. I was like, you guys just proved exactly, like, you threatened to rape me and my kids. Like, no, I don't want you on my, and I didn't say like, and it wasn't like, I don't want you to not do comedy. It was just like, it's just not going to work here.
Right. Like, you're not going on some crusade.
Right. No, not at all. Like, and it was totally like, it was in like 2 weeks of them like getting booked, like, and like we hadn't even done a contract yet. Like it was a whole,
it was a thing.
But it was, so I know what it feels like being,
elevated and like attacked and like a lot. That seems like it would be a lot to deal with. Has it like impacted how you go about comedy or produce shows?
Not, I like hid for a little bit, like
it's pretty natural.
Right. Like, but as far as that was pretty much it. Like it didn't change. Like I definitely do a lot more research now. I ask around. I'm like, hey, is this guy a bigot?
That should be on more job applications, I think.
Like you should have to say whether or not you're an asshole. Like, like, are you racist? Are you transphobic? Right. Oh, like, and you don't get to lie.
Are you still booking a lot? Are you still like trying to produce shows in addition to doing comedy? Is that a big part of it?
So I own the comedy bar in Seattle.
Oh.
And and so I'm booking, I book that. I've been doing, we've been open now for 2 years.
Fun.
And oh, kitty cat, hi.
Hi Bubba, this is Frostner. I keep wanting to go further north. Like the north is calling me, but I don't make it up there enough. And there's like 5-6 clubs around the Seattle area.
Literally within our, like, where we are in Seattle, there are 3 within like a mile and a half.
Yeah, that's great. And
it's awesome.
Is it? Or is the scene fun and lively?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I think that we're really, really spoiled out here. Like, that's in Seattle, and then in Tacoma, we have 3 clubs as well. Tacoma Comedy Club has 2, and then we also have Super Funny. We have Nate Jackson's club.
Yeah,
and so you're never hurting for like a spot to go and do comedy somewhere.
So cool. I love that. I wish. Yeah, I wish more places had it like that.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky.
That's rad. You and Sam, our good friend Sam Miller, do the Tarp Report weekly.
Yes, we do.
Can you tell us a little more about the Tarp Report and how that came to be?
Oh my gosh. So the Tarp Report, I don't even know how it sort of started. I think because we just, we were doing a lot of shows together on the road and realized that we just, enjoy chatting with each other. And I think everybody says it. Like, we're like, oh my God, we should start a podcast. We're so funny. We should start a podcast.
Guess what?
We totally did. Because because when Sam agreed to it, I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, let's go.
Let's make it happen.
And yeah, and then so the Tarp Report just we called it the Tarp Report because he's spent a little time unhoused, and he has a real affinity for tarps. And you know, they cover everything, so does our podcast.
I love that. No, yeah, that's good. You got me with the tag at the end. I love it.
Thank you.
And so one of the other big questions I try to get to that I really think is interesting is what advice would you give your early comedy self? Or, you know, you're 3 years in. Another way to look at it is, what do you wish you knew when you were just starting?
Geez Louise. To breathe. I think that's just continue to breathe.
Yeah.
That it's just to try and have a little fun. You know, I'm somebody who's so anxious, and I'm constantly like thinking about like what if, and you know, how bad everything is going to be, that I rarely think about like what if this goes well. And so I would try and instill a little bit better of like try and have a little fun, because it's like it is comedy after all. But it feels so heavy all the time, you know. It feels so serious when you're getting ready to perform, you know. But yeah, it would be I would do a little bit better if I were able to relax more.
Yeah, kind of loosen the grip a tad. Yeah. No, I love that. So taking that question a slightly different angle, what would you tell your daughters if one of them was like, Mom, I'm going to a mic. I'm
fucking go.
Yeah.
Let's go. I can't wait. I think my kids are so funny.
Yeah.
And so like literally, like I've already she's 17, but I'm like, okay, June 24th, 2025, girlfriend. Like
we're hitting the mics.
That mostly because I just want her to drive, but like also because it took me until I was almost 40 to do it. And like I wish that like I didn't wait so long. And so if it's something that they want to do, like I want them to do it as soon and as early, and so that they can learn to be confident and strong as soon as possible, which I feel like you have to be to do comedy.
Yeah, you have to be strong AF, baby.
Yeah.
Can I offer an additional perspective on waiting a while to do comedy?
Oh, sure.
I think it's great. You're an adult. You're a person. You're a formed human being. You have your thoughts. You have your opinions. You have your experience. You've been through the ringer. You know what I mean? It's like you bring so much more as an adult woman to the comedy table than some 20-year-old dude who's just like laughing at dick jokes, you know? So it's like, I think that is a challenge in many ways. Obviously, I'm not saying it's better or worse even. But I think it does grant you a perspective that is unique to yourself, that won't be as widely, you know, that's not as widely held or discussed as a lot of other people, you know? Right. And so I just think it's important, you know, me being the consummate optimist, to encourage people to remember the benefits of the path that they have taken already, because you've done a lot of work. And just because it wasn't directly correlated into that comedy whatever doesn't mean it doesn't somehow add to it and improve your ability to, you know, create a joke that only you can tell. Because that's what you were talking about earlier. It's like, I want to tell those jokes that only I can tell. And I think that's the more important mark of a comedian than starting as soon as possible.
Right.
Is that a good idea? Yeah, it's also a good idea to start early. You know, if you are if you're writing jokes and you know you love jokes, have your little joke. I wish I had a joke book as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how fun would that be? How cool would that be? But I also think it's cool that you were like, who gives a shit if I'm almost 40? I'm doing comedy, y'all. I'm as funny as these motherfuckers. Let's have it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who's on The Voice now?
Yeah. Well, for now.
Yeah, for now. So do you have coaches that like give you input and feedback on that?
Yeah. My coach is Sherry Hartman, and she helps me, and like I've been sending her my set, and she's like, she's like, let's Zoom and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll take the advice.
Heck yeah, so important, because that's like the process that you go through for late night shows. Producers will look at your set and be like, I'm excited about this or not or whatever. This is just what I've heard from others. I'm so far away from any kind of proper national credit, but still it's like it's awesome to be able to have that experience. So
well, and she's a much different comic than I am as well. So it's like it's nice to have like a different set of eyes who is going to look at it completely different than me. And so,
and sometimes those friend tags or those other people tags, it's like, oh, I wouldn't say it that, but that gives me a great idea to put something in there, for sure. Yeah. Awesome, Jess. Well, good luck with The Voice. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. If people want to check out your stuff, see more of you online, or listen to your work, where could they be directed?
You can find me on Instagram at Coach Smooch, actually.
Right on. I love it. That's a great name, Coach Smooch, baby. Was that when you were doing?
Yes. Yeah. I was much more smoochy than coachy, and
CrossFit,
but I just love that name so much. I'm like, nobody knows like what the hell that even. They're like, why Coach? But I'm like, no, you guys, it was a different me.
All right, everybody. Well, go follow Coach Smooch. She'll help you with your podcasting, maybe even your CrossFitting.
Whatever you need, I got you.
Probably laughs though. Right on, Jess. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Any parting words?
I thank you so much I appreciate you having me. I hope that you have a PVC pipe at the YMCA that you're working with those clients with, and
heck yeah, get the pipes out. That's what we're doing. Awesome, Jess.
Love it.
Well, thanks for stopping by. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you up north or down south one of these days.
Okay.
All right.
See ya.
Ciao.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
The squat, and if you can't squat, you can't do anything.